Hi, my name's Gary Harmer. I'm the Sales Director for Hikvision UK and Ireland, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this event here today. As much as we enjoy doing so, we're unable to take our normal Insight events out on the road, but we don't want you to miss out on what's new, and that's why we'll be running a further 5 of these sessions over the remaining this week and next week, so that we can keep you up to date with our technologies and solutions. Before we start, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank our customers, both installers and end users alike, for their continued loyalty and support of our brand. It really means a lot to us. Over recent months, we've faced a few challenges together, but through collaboration across our whole supply chain, we've managed to maintain our customer-focused service levels, and we truly value your ongoing support. We're going to continue the series with a look today at our video and audio convergence solutions. Before we do that, I want to give you a quick run through of the format and the agenda for today's event. We'll start in a minute or so with a short overview presentation from our BDM Mike Ward. We'd encourage you to ask any questions that you have as you go through the session using the chat facility that you'll see on the bottom of your screen. And throughout today's session, we'll answer as many of those questions as we can. After Mike's presentation, there'll be a short 10-minute break to allow you to catch up with any urgent things that have come in. But don't worry about that, because we'll give you a 10-minute countdown on the screen to let you know when we're about to start. When we do resume, there'll be a live demonstration of the products that Mike has spoken about. And then again, there'll be the opportunity to answer more of your questions. Feedback has always been really, really important to us, and it allows us to improve our events as we go on this digital journey. So we'll be asking you to take part in a very short survey towards the end of today's session, and we're using a platform called Mentimeter. And at the right time, we'll give you a screen that tells you how to log into that session. And as a thank you for being here, your names have automatically been entered into a prize draw. And at the end of today, you'll be back to me, we'll do the survey, and then we'll conclude today's session by announcing the winners of some really, really good prizes. So let's get on with the show. I'm delighted to introduce to you our presenter for today, my colleague and my friend, Mike Ward. Over to you, Mike.
Thank you, Gary. Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Ward, and I'm a business development manager here at Hikvision UK and Ireland. Given that we've been offering video solutions for over 10 years now, the addition of audio is a natural enhancement to this security that we offer. I've been in this industry a long, long time, and when I started, we were just transitioning from black and white to color cameras, and that transition was a massive step change, and I truly believe that audio adds another massive step change to the security that we can offer. So in this presentation, I'm going to go through various scenarios and various product groups that we have that offer audio and video convergence. So without further ado, the first solution we're going to look at is our eco solution. Now, if you imagine this is a small security system, either a domestic, a small commercial, or a retail, what we're offering here is our turbo camera and our eco thermal camera. The turbo camera, when alarmed, will give off an audio signal, one of 3 that you can choose, and it will also give red and blue flashing lights. The thermal camera, again, will, when it's creating an alarm, it will give off one of 10 audio signals. You can customize 5 audio signals and choose those and put them in your site, and also give off a visual deterrent. You might say that a thermal camera can't be part of an eco solution. However, since we've been creating our own chipsets for thermal cameras in the last couple of years, we brought the price down dramatically, and now we can put these into that type of system. In a recent development with our turbo cameras, in one of the latest editions, we'll be able to actually customize one of the audio files that we can put into the camera directly from Hike Connect. So if we move up the site size to our Pro range, now if you imagine this is a primary school or a small commercial unit, what we're offering here is 2 cameras from our AccuSense range. So we've got our static AccuSense bullet camera and our AccuSense PTZ camera. Now, when I say AccuSense, that gives us the ability to differentiate between human and vehicles and act accordingly. So that cuts down our false positive alarms by about 80%, making it more accurate. Again, we have the audio file. So when an alarm's created, we'll create a white light, white flashing light, and one of 10 audio files that we can produce. And again, which is common through our IP cameras with this feature, we have 5 customizable audio files that we can put in. A small added benefit to this system is if we're using IVMS 4200, we can attach a microphone to that PC, and then we can talk directly through the AccuSense cameras. So an example of where that might be useful is if you see a delivery driver arrive and he's looking where to go, you can quickly call upon the speaker and you can ask for him to go directly to the goods in area. So when we move up the site size again and we go to a larger scenario, so this could be a university, for instance, or a large offices. What we're doing here, we're offering the same AccuSense cameras. We're going to offer any of the cameras from our IP range, so you can choose any camera because every CCTV system is unique. Use a camera that's suitable for the environment. But the big step change we've got here is the addition of our IP horn speaker. So what we've got here is what we were offering previously was the visual and audio deterrent from our AccuSense cameras. And now we can also do the same. So any alarm created on a camera can create an audio warning through the speaker. And we can customize these files, and then we customize them via the NVR. And then they can create any alarm given for any environment. So even one camera could have 2 separate alarming areas and give out 2 separate alarm warnings. And again, we've got the same feature here as we had with the AccuSense and the NVR. If we're using IVMS 4200, we can actually talk directly through to any of the cameras that have speakers built in. Now, moving up the site size again, so we might be looking at massive distribution centers or multiple sites, for instance. So in this scenario, we're going to add Hike Central. And Hike Central adds 3 major benefits to me. The first one being we can add scheduled announcements throughout the day. So if you've got regular messages you want to get across to the people in your area, then this is an ideal piece of equipment to use. The second major advantage is we can speak directly through Hike Central, or we can select an icon on the map and talk directly through a speaker. So this could be guiding a lost student or warning someone that they're moving into a restricted area. And the third advantage is we can actually customize the signals that we put throughout the automatic alarming within Hike Central. So just to recap on what we offer in our high-end solution is very easy to deploy because of the PoE. So any camera, any speaker is just one single cable. The audio alarms, so one alarm can create multiple alarms can create single alarms. We can also create 2 different alarms from the same image by using 2 VCA boxes within an image. We can customize those alarm signals, we can schedule announcements, and we can also talk directly from Hike Central. And then the star of the show, which is one of the latest products we've just brought out, is this IP horn speaker. Easy to install because it's PoE, IP66, so it's internal and external. And it also supports working with a SIP server, which has the advantage of, from an external phone line, you can call into the system and talk directly through the speaker. We'll talk a little bit more about SIP a bit later on in this presentation. So I want to thank you for listening to me. I hope you found it interesting. We're now going to take a short break of 10 minutes. Please take this time to submit any questions you have in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screens. Our sales director, Gary Harmer, after that, will be carrying out a short survey just to go at the end of this presentation using mentimeter.com. Please go to the link that you'll see on the next slide and input the 7-digit code, which is 8260877, in preparation for this part of today's session. Thank you and see you in 10 minutes. Thank you and welcome back. I hope you had a nice break. I understand there was a slight technical hitch where you saw an unexperienced live presenter acting naturally, so apologies for that. Hope you've had a cup of tea and time to clear down all your messages. So as you can see, I've got one of my colleagues here. This is Dan Hawkins from our product pre-sales team. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go through some frequently asked questions. We're going to give a bit of a live demo, and also Dan is first of all going to just run through what each of these cameras up here is, so you can see there. So I'll hand over to Dan.
Thanks, Mike. So behind me, we have our IP PTZ camera. This is an AccuSense PTZ. It has a flashing strobe light and a speaker built in. Next, we have our Turbo HDX camera. This is a PIR sensor built in, along with some flashing lights for deterrent.
Yep.
We then have our color view camera. This has a flashing light also, and the audio built in. Then we have a speaker, obviously in the middle, and then our thermal dual optical camera, which has an optical lens and a thermal lens as well. At the end is our AccuSense bullet. This allows us to do differentiate between people and vehicles.
Lovely. So now we're going to do a live demonstration with the color view camera. And then following that, we're going to go through some frequently asked questions that we've thought amongst. And so I'm just going to go walk across the scene. So, as you can see, we created an alarm environment. The camera gave an audible and a visual deterrent, which I think in 99 cases out of 100 will get rid of any criminals straight off. So the first question I've done, I see there's two lights up there, but only one of them came on our color view camera.
Sure, the two LEDs that we have are functional. On the color view camera, it adds a supplemental light to enable great color images 24 hours a day. The other is a flashing light, which creates a deterrent or an early warning system.
Okay, thank you for that. So just to recap, in an office environment, if I had a recorder and an AccuSense camera, what equipment do I need to talk directly through the camera?
So any IP cameras with a desk microphone, a camera with a speaker, and a client PC running our software, IVMS 4200.
Thank you. And if I was a security officer on a larger site with our new IP speakers and I wanted to make direct announcements directly through those speakers,
Sure.
what would I need to be able to do that, please?
Hike Central is the platform to use here. We can engage or disengage the microphone to talk directly to the speaker, offering information and guidance.
Would that be a pertinent point, pertinent time,
Sure.
just so we can do a quick demonstration with Hike Central on here, please?
So here we have Hike Central, which is running on one of the client PCs. We're running an EMAP, so we can see our location, which is Stockley Park. Around the microphone, I have several cameras. If I simply tap those, we can bring up an image of the camera.
Yeah.
If I then bring up the speaker, I can select which speaker I want to use as to which location it's in. If I hit start, please evacuate the premises. As you can see, the speaker is clearly working.
Thank you, Dan. I mentioned earlier in the presentation that we can run scheduled announcements. Yeah. What sort of environment do you think that would be useful in?
A theme park is a great example for using loudspeakers to play music or make announcements. Schools are another one. The scheduling enables us to make plans to announce break times or a lunch break.
And with those scheduled announcements, any limitations in the system for that?
We can have up to 32 different schedules or plans. Within these, we can have up to 8 different time schedules. As an example, we can schedule up to 8 different messages on separate days.
Thank you. Now, I said I was going to come back a little bit about SIP. So in your experience as an ex-installer, Dan, if you were going to deploy one of our speakers using a SIP server, what steps would you take?
I would firstly go to check our website for any compatibility documents that we have, then maybe contact our technical pre-sales team. Finally, I'd bench test to make sure the systems can all interact correctly. Lovely.
Thank you very much, Dan. So I'd like to reiterate, if you've had any questions that you'd like to ask, there's the facility at the bottom of the screen. So we're now going to move on to the next part of the session, where we're going to now answer all the questions that have come in. Well, not all of them, but a selection, because we've had quite a few. So I'd just like to introduce Stephen Liu. He's one of the, he is the product specialist for our video and audio convergence system. So I'm going to ask Stephen these questions. Stephen, the first question we've got here is that the speaker itself, we've talked about PoE. Are there any other ways that we could power the speaker?
Yeah, sure. As our other devices, this speaker can also powered by the charger, so we can have 24 volts input separately go to the speaker. So and we have another network cable and connect to the system. Yeah, sure.
Lovely. And another question we've had come in is, does it need to be a Deep in Mind speaker, or sorry, one of our Deep in Mind NVRs, or it can be just a normal iSeries NVR?
If for the speaker class NVR, we suggest use our iSeries. But
Yep.
if for our cameras, any our NVR can do the functions of our automatic triggering message and the communication functions. They can all do these functions.
Lovely. And what's the method within the camera? We've said that there are 5 customizable files.
Yes.
And someone's asking how we actually input these customizable audio files into the camera.
Actually, there's multiple ways. The much easier way is to go to the camera webpage, and there's an upload button, so you can easily select the file and upload directly to the cameras.
Okay. Another question we have coming in here is, do any of the solutions have the capability to use a smartphone microphone to talk to people on the site?
So for our speaker solution, so we will have this function in the future. And for the camera, we do can talk to the camera on our mobile app.
Okay, thank you. And the power of the speaker, what sort of distance are we saying that from one of these speakers, if it was on the side of a building, how wide of area do you think we could cover?
Yeah, so because the sound is really will depend on the scenario. If there's many structures, though they would prevent the sound to be delivered. But so from our test, so this speaker can be clearly here for open parking lot. So it's a quite large area.
Lovely. And another question I've just seen come in here. So the automatic lockdown feature is created from a fire system or something. Is it possible to link that automatic lockdown feature to an audio file, an audio alarm on the system?
Yes, sure. So by using our Hikvision, so we can link all the speaker to play one sound together. So you can select all the speakers at one time to play like warning sound at the same time.
And another question here. What's the IP rating on the speaker, please, Stephen?
So the IP rating is IP66.
Okay. Lovely. That's covered off all the questions we've had come in. So thank you for all of your input and all your questions. I'm now going to hand back to Gary Harmer. He's going to now go through the Mentimeter so we can get your feedback. And also he will be doing the prize draw at the end of the whole presentation. So just want to thank you all for your attendance, and I will now hand back to Gary.
A huge thanks to you, Mike, Dan, and Stephen for a very interesting look at our video and audio convergence solutions. And thanks to you, the viewers, for your participation and for entering your questions today. I hope that we've answered most of those for you.